The co-founder of the most successful effort ever to help alcoholics stay dry died late Sunday, and as he had provided, then gave up his anonymity. He was William G. Wilson, Bill to the thousands of drunks who found help in his example.
I had an obsession of the mind that condemned me to drink against my will, so that if the drinking was continued, I would be destined to go mad or to die.
We are meant to thirst. The question is, where do we aim what we thirst for?
Bill just didn't talk about alcoholism all the time to people. He talked about depressions. I've heard people come up to him and say, "Thank you for saving my life twice."
He converted all these disabilities into this amazing career where he probably has single-handedly helped more people than almost anyone else on earth. Now that's a major achievement.
I am eternally grateful the man lived and did what he did.
One of the things that intrigues me is how well the steps have held up in time.
Everybody in the meeting shook my sponsor's hand because that was the hand that shook Bill Wilson's hand. I mean, I don't know how Bill Wilson dealt with that.
I think his contribution to the human race is of an order that has not yet been fully realized.
Bill Wilson was first and foremost an alcoholic in recovery. He was a stinking, rotten drunk who by some divine grace was granted sobriety, was empowered to bring to the world this fellowship, this message. But I think, like any gift of this magnitude, simply to protect him, he was not granted the full knowledge of what the price would be.
He was spellbinding on his own story anytime I ever heard him. And I think everybody else had that same sense. Because I think what people realized they were listening to was the founding myth, I guess would be, it's not myth, it's reality, simply a story of a founding, and that's what this was. And it was endlessly wanted and effective.
Some of you people may ask, why do these drunks continue to drink in the face of certain destruction? Why can't they stop? Well, this story will illustrate. One day I was sitting in a brokerage shop, and I fell into a conversation with a man who proved to be an heir to a great fortune. And I began my sales talk on how cheap securities were, how a syndicate ought to be put together to gather these things up. And he fell in with the idea. And I was to be the manager. Moreover, I was to have a third interest. Well, by the time we got that far in the conversations, they discovered about my drinking. So they came to me and they said, "Look, Bill, we know you got a real liquor problem. Would you be willing during the life of this thing to sign an agreement that you will not drink? That if you do drink, your interest in it will be ended?" You know, the curious thing is, I really believed that I could stay sober when the incentive was so great. The work began, money came in, we began to buy securities, but now see what happened. One day, some old business acquaintances called me up. They said, "Bill, we hear you're sober." They said, "Well, won't you go over in Jersey and do a piece of work for us?" I said, "Sure." That evening, we put up at a small hotel, and one of the boys brings out a jug. And I said, "Well, what you got there?" "Why, they say that's Applejack, Jersey Lightning." No, thanks. No, I'm not drinking. I can't handle it."